Amazon, Google Play, illstreetrex.com, and streaming live right now on Rhapsody, Beats Music, Spotify, Xbox Music, Spreaker Radio, and SoundCloud. Check them out today. True Speech and 313 Fresh, Family Grind, ENT. Believe in it, get it. To the Journal of the Bossman Show with John Beckler. We was just joined by Tennessee State Lady Tigers coach Larry Inman. Tigers on a 5-game winning streak going into the OVC last week of the season. And plus, since we're the season OVC conference, what does that mean, people? We always have on Kyle Schwartz at the OVC. So, Kyle, welcome to the show again. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Enjoy being on.
Yes, indeed, Kyle. As I was mentioning in the open, we come to the end of the season once again. Great season has been OVC for us. Non-conference wins, teams are getting better, coaches coaching their teams out very well, which also means it's time for one of my favorite weeks of the year, OVC tournament time at the Municipal Auditorium. So, Kyle, what are some special events, activities for the student athletes, teams, and their fans coming down to Nashville to enjoy the tournament this year?
Yeah, well, that's a great question because, there are, 14 games, 7 men's and 7 women's games, but there's so much more that happens too, and, a lot of our teams will be getting into town the Tuesday before the event. Our women's teams, they've totally changed their bracket this year. We used to have a merit-based system where the first 2 seeds got double buys. The women have gone away from that this year. They're all going to come to town the Tuesday before, have a little award ceremony the night, the day before the games begins to award all their awards. And the rest of our fans, they'll get to town, Wednesday, getting ready for those first games, the women's games that tip at noon, the men's at 6 that night. I encourage our fans really to go to ovcsports.com, check out our championship page. It has a link to, all the games, all the things that'll be going around downtown, near Municipal. We'll have a Music City Mingle event where fans can go between sessions. That's at the Doubletree Hotel just down the street. So lots going on around the tournament, not just the games.
And then, Kyle, are there any special packages for ticket pricing for sessions and lodging for the fans of the tournament? And where can they connect with these types of things?
Exactly. The best way, and we hear this every year from fans, you don't know exactly when your team's going to play, but the best value is to buy an all-session ticket. And, all-session tickets are $80, and, that sounds it might sound like a lot, first of all, but if you want to go to more than just your team's games, if you want to go to 4, 5, 6 games, if you want to go to all 14 games, it's just $571 a piece. I don't know where you can find a deal for a better deal at $571 for a college basketball ticket. Now, those, you can go to ovcsports.com. At the top of our page, there's a banner that says buy tickets. You can click there and purchase those. The other way to get would be single session tickets. Now, single session for the men's games are $30 a piece. So, if you're going to go to 2 sessions or you end up going to 3 men's sessions, it's going to cost you more than what an all-session ticket would be. But you can get those at ovcsports.com, too. Our women's games are $15 single session. Those are general admission. The men's games are reserved for the lower arena and general admission up top. But we really think we have a good value. So if fans interested in seeing more than just maybe their team play, that all-session ticket would be a good deal.
Now, Kyle, this is a story I never shared with you or John before. Back in the mid-'90s, my mother had called my dad in Florida and said she wanted me to have an experience. And the experience was I was a Weebelo, and she knew a Cub Scout troop in Nashville who was going to be ball boying at the OVC tournament at the Municipal Auditorium. And I got to ball boy at the tournament many years ago. And it's funny how as a kid, introduced me to the OVC, ended up going to an OVC school. Now I'm working with the OVC, talking to you guys now. So it's like, it's full circle for me being a ball boy as a kid to going to a school at OVC school and now covering it for my work. So yeah, man, Kyle, I've been around the OVC pretty much from a kid on, from being to be a ball boy. I remember, if I can recall, TSU played Austin P and Bubba Wells was playing. And frankly, Allen was the coach there when I was ball boying during the mid-'90s.
Well, you shouldn't have told me that, because if there is a spot that needs to be wiped up during the games this year and we don't have somebody, I might have to call on you to go get a mop and help us out a little bit.
He's got the experience, Kyle. He's got the experience, man. I think it's a good idea.
That's a great story.
Yeah, all of 8 games worth of ball boying. That was my 8-game ball boy career with the OCC tournaments back in the 90s. I retired after I did such a good job, Kyle and John. I retired from it.
You pulled the Barry Sanders on that?
I sure did.
The great thing about our tournament, we try to get kids involved with our ball kid program, and then we have special events like with the Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts. The Girl Scouts we give tickets to so they can come. We have a partnership with the YMCA youth basketball teams. We're a good sports team where they get nominated and they bring fans. So we try to involve as many youth in the community to come and make it easy for them to come see some games and see their favorite teams in action during the week. So it's not just for those hardcore fans who coming from out of town following our team, but the people right here in Middle Tennessee that they attend the event every year.
Yes, indeed. And Cal, taking to the court, we have an interesting race for tournament buys on both sides of the men's and women, and for higher seeding. So how are you guys, the conference, feeling about having all this uncertainty and all these different tie-breaking procedures, different ways that it can fall, going to last week of the season with Belmont? Murray State may go undefeated. You have all these great things going on UC Martin on the women's side, and TSU and SIU, we trying to battle for that number 2 seed. So how are you guys feeling about having all this uncertainty going to last week of the season?
Yes, sometimes we know our all of our women's teams, and we almost know all of our men's. Of course, you mentioned Murray State's. They're going to be the number 1 seed for the men. UT Martin's going to be the number 1 seed for the women. And then there's everybody else, and we'll figure out where they go. So it's always an interesting process to figure out all the scenarios. And by the time play's done on Saturday night, they'll fit into one of those 8 slots on each side. So the teams, they're probably the most anxious. They want to figure out when they're coming to town, when their first game, let their fans know so their fans can plan to come to the game. But there definitely is a lot of interest to know, hey, what seed will I be, who will I play, when will I play.
And then, we touched on this briefly as we got into the interview, tie-breaking procedures, ties for division titles and seeding purposes, tournament-wise. You guys have a plan for those. What are those?
Well, looking at it right now, there's some games this week that heading right in through Saturday that will make or break it, what teams will fall where, and really we only know sort of the top 2 seeds. So head to head, when you're looking at the tiebreakers, head to head, when 2 teams are tied, that's the number 1 way we break ties. So for instance, Belmont and Eastern Kentucky, if they ended up tied, you'd look at their head to head record against each other. They split, so then you'd have to go down a series, and we have a long list of scenarios and procedures if that happens, and record versus the other division champion, record versus number 3 seed, 4 seed, 5 seed, etc. So, over time we've kind of tweaked the tiebreakers to make it fair for everybody. So that's a process that goes on all throughout the week and through Saturday's game. So the media relations staff here will be busy working through all those and seeing what happens after we complete play Saturday night.
And Kyle, I know we don't want to talk about this, but if Murray State was losing in the tournament, would they be an at-large team? Will they just be stuck going to the NIT? Have you guys got any word about that from the NCAA for as to what happens if they was to lose?
They don't ever really tell us, hey, they're looking good or they're not. We have regular phone calls with we have 2 people, a primary and a secondary person on the men's selection committee who we have the calls with. We send them emails, we send them notes. Here's what's going on. I would think this is just looking at their record. Their RPI is 70 entering the week. Even though they've won a lot of games in a row and they're nearing the top 25, I would think with a 70 RPI, it'd be pretty hard to be an at-large team. And that's just looking at it as an outsider. I've never stood in the committee room. I don't know what happens. I think maybe a more interesting thing would be if they do win the tournament, what would their seed be? And that's probably even more important. Last year, Eastern Kentucky won. We thought they were probably a 14 seed. They got a 15 seed, had to play Kansas. Andrew Wiggins, we saw how that went. A team with a lot of height, even without Joel Embiid playing. when we get whatever team we get to the tournament, we want them to get as good a seed as possible so they can have success. I think, I've been looking at the bracketology, but I would think if Murray would win the tournament, I would think a 13 for sure. I couldn't see them being much worse than that, and even maybe a 12 if they run the table, because they're going to have to beat some good teams in the tournament, which would raise that even more. So I think that would be more important. Whichever team we gets in, we want to see the best seed they can get, so we can win not just one, but maybe 2 or 3 games in the tournament.
Well, and staying with the championship theme, talk about the indoor track and field championships a little bit, Kyle. Coming up this weekend, and other spring sports such as baseball, tennis, golf, softball, if you would, please. Yeah,
it's a busy time. You kind of hit the nail on the head. Indoor track, we got some great track teams and some really good individuals. They'll be at the campus of Eastern Illinois. They have them and TSU have our 2 best indoor facilities to kind of rotate, trading off who hosts every year. So the teams will be there this weekend, and then that'll get them ready for qualifying for the indoor national championship. So that's always a great event. It sort of sometimes gets lost. I'm glad you asked about it, because it backs right up to our basketball championship. So it's over, and then it's basketball time. But baseball and softball teams are playing. Our office here in Brentwood, it's kind of crazy that teams in this area think they can play outdoor baseball and softball this early in February. Of course, we had a big ice and snowstorm. A lot of games canceled. We had a lot of teams kind of reschedule and just go farther south to play some games. So baseball and softball underway. Tennis is finally getting outside, even though a lot of their matches have to be moved inside right now. And I believe this week we're going to see a lot of our men's and women's golf teams back out on the links to play some. So it's not a slow time at all on any of our campuses with all the spring sports going on.
And Kyle, if you need a tennis analyst, John would love to come out and cover some matches for you, because John can break down a backhand and forehand like no other.
Well, our tennis champion is going to be in Nashville. It'll be at the Centennial Complex in April. So, it's always good to have another event here in Nashville where all of our teams can come.
I'll come out and do the color commentary. JR, you can work the net, okay?
I got you. And Kyle, finally for you, Kyle, putting on your analyst hat, talk about the Kentucky Wildcats. Will they go undefeated and make this unbelievable run and win the title unblemished?
Well, here's why so everybody knows I took my OVC hat off, and this is just my personal, my alma mater. I think they can. I don't think they're going to lose a regular season game. They might lose one in the SEC tournament, but they definitely can. And my hope as a fan of that team would hope that if they, I don't want to see them go 34-0 and then lose in the third round or Sweet 16. That would be pretty disappointing. So if they need to lose one, let's get it out of the way and see where you can go. But as a team, just some of the talent they have, and the size, it's pretty impressive. So if they could do it, it would be one of the ultimate feats since it hasn't been done since Indiana in the mid '70s. So they definitely can. I just don't know if they for sure will.
Oh, I hear that. Well, Kyle, me and John, I love having you on the show as always, and look forward to seeing you next week and enjoying everything you have for the media, because you all do a great job of that. And ready to get this tip off going, man, and get these teams playing in the Ville, man.
Well, we're busy preparing, so we're looking forward to it and seeing you all then.
All right, Kyle. Thank you as always, buddy.
Thank you.
And that was Kyle Schwartz from OVC breaking down the OVC men's basketball tournament, women's basketball tournaments coming in Nashville indoor track and field. OVCsports.com. Check it out. Get your tickets today. Click on championships. Get your tickets. Know what's going on in Nashville. Enjoy the vibe. JR and John, the break will be joined by Shams, Charania of RealGM.com.
For all your photo, video, and voiceover needs, check out the fine folks at Blueberry Productions. They will take good care of you. If you don't believe me, you can see for yourself. Check out their work at blueberryproductions.tv, the Facebook page,